Welcome back to another income portfolio update, showing all of the income I receive outside of my work salary. What I'm trying to do on this channel is to build a portfolio of cash flow generating assets that pay me each month, and these monthly videos show how I'm progressing. In this video, I'll give you an update on the dividends I received in July, and my dividend stock portfolio in general, including the stocks that I've been buying over the month. I'll also discuss my premium bonds, and what I won in the July prize draw. And finally, I'll run through my income and expenditure for my real estate investments. This month hasn't been great for me and my properties, which I'll talk about in the video. So let's get straight into the numbers. Firstly, looking at my dividends. In July, I received £60.09 from 4 different companies. This is a similar amount to July last year, when I received £52.84. It is down a lot from 2022, however, just due to some portfolio restructuring, where I sold out of a number of positions that paid me in July. Comparing last year's July dividends to this year's, I've sold out of Bank of America, but this was a really small holding and didn't pay me much. Coca-Cola has increased by £4.76. JP Morgan paid me in August last year, but July this year. PepsiCo and Trig paid me in July last year, but June this year. And realty income has nearly doubled, which is really nice to see. So how do my dividends look if we zoom out and look at the totals? This graph shows how much I'd received at this point during the last few years. From January to July over 2023, I'd received £914.98. But from January to July this year, I've received £385.19 more, with a total of £1,300.17 so far. Again, this really surprised me to see how much my dividends are growing by. Let's now look at this graph, which shows all of the dividends that I've ever received, and we can see that the numbers have been increasing year on year as I keep contributing and reinvesting my dividends. There are a lot of monthly fluctuations, just due to the different payment dates of my holdings. This is why I prefer to just focus on monthly averages, rather than individual months. So for 2024, I'm currently averaging £185.74 a month, which is way above my 2023 average of £151.01. And if we look at the average at this point last year, we can see that it was £130.71. So it's motivating to see that the year-to-date average has increased by £55.03. However, to get a more accurate analysis of the average, I'll have to wait and see what the full year average ends up as. All dividends received are always reinvested back into the portfolio to buy more shares that pay more dividends, and then I just allow the compounding process to do its work. Now let's have a deeper look at my stock portfolio that generates these dividends. It currently stands at £67,211 invested. It does feel a bit strange saying that, as when I think about it, it is a massive number to me. And if you go back through some of my earlier monthly videos, you can see how this has grown over time. Being fully transparent as always, here are all of my positions, showing all unrealised gains and losses. Let's now look at how much I deposited into my portfolio over July. Once again, I managed to contribute another £1,667. I'm past the halfway point of the year now, and have been committed to depositing this amount every month. I've got 5 deposits left to make until the end of the year, and I should be able to contribute the same amount each month, which will mean that I will have invested £20,000 over the calendar year. This is something that I plan on doing long into the future, and it'll mean that I max out my 20k per year ISA allowance. When I do deposit each month, I don't always buy shares straight away, and tend to wait until prices look appealing to me and my positions. I'm not trying to time the market over long periods, but just prefer to hold some cash back in the event of any short-term drops. Trading 212 also offer 5.2% per annum on uninvested cash, which is paid daily. So I do still earn on my deposited cash, even if I'm not putting it into the market just yet. And if you do want to sign up to Trading 212, I've put a link in the description. With the July deposit, I now have £5,096 in cash, and earned £20.29 in interest over the month. Let's now look at how my total amount invested has grown from zero over time, using this graph. The line on the graph is going up and up, and this just reminds me of how consistent I've been over the years in adding to my portfolio each and every month. I always want to reiterate that I don't do anything fancy or clever. I just stay disciplined, pay myself first by contributing every month when I get paid my salary, and reinvesting every penny that I get in dividends. I do have a number of videos on my channel where I talk about how I've reduced my expenditure and increased my income, which has resulted in me being in a position where I can comfortably contribute these amounts every month. These regular contributions are a key part of my overall strategy to keep feeding the portfolio, which increases my dividends and accelerates the compounding process. So let's have a look at the stocks that I've been buying over July. I've spent £992 this month, adding to my existing positions and boosting my Vanguard ETF positions. I bought 6 shares of VHYL for a total of £312. I also bought 10 shares of VOOC for a total of £353. And I also bought 4 shares of VUSA for a total of £327. These buys will add around £27 to my yearly dividend total. After these purchases, this means that the overall yield for my portfolio as a whole currently sits at 3.75%, which has dropped slightly from 3.76% in my last update. This equates to around £2,519 per year in predicted dividends, £210 per month, £48 per week, and £6.90 a day. It's nice to think that my dividends could pay for a nice annual holiday, pay for my monthly grocery shop, allow me to eat out once a week, or even pay for a daily coffee and a cake. But for now, all dividends will be reinvested. And there will always be a discrepancy between my actual dividends received and my predicted dividends, just due to the timing of me purchasing shares and then being eligible through the ex-date of the dividends. I hold all of my shares in the Trading 212 app, using a stocks and shares ISA, which means that all capital gains and dividends are tax-free, as I'm based in the UK. As mentioned earlier, you can also get 5.2% per year on all uninvested cash. If you are interested in starting a portfolio with Trading 212, I do have a link in the description where you can use my code, and we'll both get a free share worth up to £100. And if you wanted to, you can just sell that share straight away and pocket the cash. So let's now have a look at how I'm comparing to my forecast. Over July, I forecast to add £1,667, and as mentioned earlier, I have contributed that amount again. 7 out of 7 completed so far with the deposits. I also forecasted to receive £61 in dividends and actually received £60, so it's pretty much in line with what was expected. If we now add up my invested total plus my cash total, this comes to £72,308. So after 7 months, I'm still in a good place to end the year at the 80k portfolio target. And I'm around £1,600 ahead of schedule as it stands right now. So I should easily hit that 80k target if I just carry on doing what I'm doing. If I can finish the year with around 80k invested, it means that going into 2025, the portfolio will be generating a dividend of around £250 per month. And this keeps me on course to hit 100k by the end of 2025. It's really inspiring to see that if I just keep doing what I'm doing, that by the end of 2028, I could have a portfolio generating nearly £500 a month in dividends. Let's now have a look at what I received from my premium bonds in the July prize draw. I won £150 last month, which was reinvested. So I went into the July draw with £16,450 invested of the £50,000 maximum that you're allowed. I am on a bit of a winning roll now, and managed to win again in the July draw, with another £100 received. That makes it £500 for the year in premium bond wins, which is a really nice amount. Another plus point is that premium bond wins are tax-free. Again, the £100 July prize is automatically reinvested back into buying more premium bonds. On top of this, over July, I also received my annual bonus from work and put £1,000 of it into my premium bonds. So I'll be going into next month's draw with £17,550. I also invest in real estate and currently rent out 2 buy-to-let properties and a secure car parking space. So over July, this is what the numbers look like. The rental income has dropped since last month as the tenants have moved out of the 2-bedroom flat. So I'm just receiving £775 for my 1-bedroom flat. I also get £80 a month for renting out the parking space. The management fee has also dropped as this charge is based on the income received. The mortgage has stayed the same for now, but my new fixed rate mortgage starts next month, so this will increase. And looking at the repairs and maintenance for the month, I haven't had any cost yet, but it has been a difficult month. My 2-bed flat had 2 21-year-old girls as tenants, who moved out a couple of weeks ago. The management company inspected the property and hit me with a long list of issues caused by the tenants. The biggest one being that the tenants had been smoking, despite this not being permitted. The maintenance company recommended that a full repaint of the flat was needed, as the smell of smoke was prevalent throughout the property. This came as a big surprise, and the lack of respect for my property was really disappointing. I fully understand that tenants won't look after my property the same way that I would, but I just hoped for a bit more decency. On top of the smoking issue, there were also other problems. 3 door handles were loose, the toilet seat in one of the bathrooms was cracked, the shower curtain was missing, the smoke alarm was missing a battery, and the cooker hood lights weren't working. The maintenance company quoted me over £2,000 for these repairs, and as the tenant's deposit was only £1,000, I decided that I'd have to carry out the remediation work myself. As a result, I had to give up a weekend to leave my family and my daughter and head up to the apartment to do the repairs. And it took me the best part of a day and a half to repaint and fix all the issues. I am in discussions with the management company about claiming all of these expenses back from the tenant's deposit. The management company doesn't actually hold the deposit, it's held by a TDP, a Tenancy Deposit Protection Scheme. This is a government-backed scheme which ensures that tenants will get their deposit back at the end of the tenancy, providing they haven't caused any damage. But as they have broken the terms of the tenancy agreement by smoking and also damaged the property, I now have to make a claim to the TDP for the costs that I've incurred fixing the damage. So for now, my pre-tax profit over July is £126.85, but there may be more expenses if the TDP challenge my claim. And I'll let you know the outcome in the next monthly update. So hit that bell button to be notified if you don't want to miss it. That concludes my monthly update, and this is the summary for the month, with £307.23 received. This is much lower than last month, mainly due to the June dividends being so big compared to this month, and also losing the income from the 2-bedroom apartment. I do document my investing journey on this channel, and you can see how this has been progressing if you go back and watch some of my earlier videos. If you are interested in following along, please subscribe to the channel to make sure that you don't miss any future updates. And if you have enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, as it does help the channel out a lot, and it's something that I really do appreciate. So I hope I've covered everything that you wanted to hear, but if not, feel free to drop me a question in the comments section below. I'll be reading and responding to every message that I can. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.